Hello everyone. Uh, this lesson is going to be very exciting. Today we are going to talk about some additional notes which we have not done so far, um, and we will also talk about sharp and flat. Okay, what are those? So yeah, watch this video till end. It's going to be very informative, and it's going to help you understand guitar a little bit more. Um, so if you recall in my previous lessons, I introduced you guys with these notes, right? Okay. So these are the 7 notes which we talked about, but these are not the only notes which we play on a guitar. Okay. There are some notes in between these any two notes. Um, and that's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. Okay, it's going to be very exciting, very informative. So and once I show you how this will be translated on the fretboard on the guitar, you will understand this even better. Okay, so there is a note between A and B. Okay, so that is basically represented as A sharp. So if you see, sharp is nothing but the next note after a given note. So if I say A sharp, that would be a note right after A. Okay. I can also represent this as B flat. Okay. So which essentially means B flat means a note before a given note. Okay. So A sharp and B flat are same, right? So this is our, so let's take this as our first note. This becomes our second note. Now next comes B. So B does not have a sharp or a flat, basically. B does not have a sharp or C does not have a flat. So basically there is no note between B and C. But if I have to say B sharp, it's basically C only. But we don't call B sharp. There is nothing called B sharp. So essentially there is no note between B and C. So we will leave this as it is. So this is our third note. This is our fourth note. And then again, C and D, there is a note between C and D. We can call it as C sharp or D flat. Okay, both are same. C sharp or D flat. Okay, so this becomes our fifth note. And of course, D becomes our sixth note. And then D and E, yes, there is a sharp here as well. It's D sharp. Or we can also call it as E flat, right? Note before E. This is our seventh note. Again, similar to B and C, there is no note between E and F. So I will call it as 8. And this becomes our ninth note. Okay. So E and F does not have any note between them. F and G, yes, there is F sharp. Or we can also call it as G flat. Okay. This becomes our 10th note. This is our 11th note. And if you recall, after G we go back to A, right? The whole thing repeats. And yes, there is a note between G and A. It's called G sharp. Or you can also call it as A flat. This becomes our 12th note. So in music, there are 12 notes which we use. Okay, so quickly I will summarize this. So it is A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F F sharp, G, and G sharp. And after G sharp, it goes back to A. Okay, makes sense, right? Or we could also represent this as A, G flat, B, C, and C sharp can be written as B flat. Then we have D. D sharp can be represented as E flat. Then we have E, F. F sharp can be written as G flat. G. G sharp can be represented as A flat. Okay. So you will come across this in a lot of songs when you research some songs on the internet. Lot of songs will have these notes, and so it's important to know what are these basically. Okay, right? So this is about the sharps and flats. Okay, now we will quickly talk about half step and whole step, what that means. It's very important, and understanding this now is going to help you in future lessons when we start learning about scales and derive chords out of it and all that. So very important topic. So I'll quickly write all our 12 notes here. Okay, I'll just put a comma so that it's easy to identify them separately. Okay, what is a half step? So you see all the 12 notes here. So half step is basically from a given note, we move to the next note. That is a half step. So from A, if I say I have to take a half step, that means I'm going to A sharp. That is my half step. I will put it as H. Okay. From A sharp, if I have to go half step, it would be next note, which is B, and this is my half step. But from B, for example, I say that you play, it's a whole step. So whole step basically means 2 half steps. Okay, so whole step equals to 2 times half step. So from B, if I say I have to go whole step, that means this is my first half step, that means C, and then next half step, that is my C sharp. So this becomes my whole step. Okay, so from C sharp, if I have to take whole step, that would be C sharp to D and D to D sharp. This is my next whole step. From D sharp, if I have to take half step, that is D sharp to E. This is my half step. Okay, it is very important to understand this, because when we do scales, right, what are scales, we'll talk about it. That would be a dedicated video lesson on it, so don't worry about that right now, but just understand what is a half step and a whole step. Okay. Okay, so here are the 12 notes which we just discussed, right? All the sharps and the flats, of course. So now I'm going to show you how these can be played on your guitar. So we have learned all the 6 strings in our previous lessons, right? So if you recall, first string, right, which is open position E, right? This is E. So if you see here, this is the note E. What is the next note? F. So if you remember, our first note was F, right? Very next note. Okay. And then after that we played third fret, which was G. And then we played the 5th fret, which was A, right? So these were the 4 notes on the first string, if you recall my first string lesson. So if you see, now we are skipping 2nd fret and 4th fret, right? So that's because those are the sharps which we have just learned. Okay, so this is how now it will look. So first open position is E, very next note is F. Okay, then comes F sharp. So my second fret is basically F sharp, which I will play with my second finger. Okay, middle finger. Then comes G, third fret, which we already played, we already know. Then comes G sharp, right? So my fourth fret is G sharp. Okay, and I play with that with my ring finger. And then comes A, right? The fifth fret. So going with that sequence, next note would be A sharp. That means my sixth fret is A sharp. Okay, then after A sharp comes B. So my seventh fret is B, followed by C. My eighth fret is C. Then comes C sharp, right? Then comes D. Then you go. Then comes D sharp. And then 12th fret is E. So if you recall one of my lessons, parts of the guitar, that talks about so that talks about you know, on the 12th fret basically the notes repeat, right? So whatever I play on the open position is the same, has the same note as on the 12th fret, right? It's just the next octave, right? So then my 12th fret becomes E, and similarly F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Okay, so that's how it goes. Let's take another string. Let's take the second string. Second string, open position is B, if you recall my second string lesson, right? And the first fret was C, if you remember from the lesson, right? So if you see here, B and C, there is nothing between them. That's why open is B and first fret is C. Then we learned the third fret, which is D. Okay, then what is the second fret then? C sharp, right? So there is C sharp between C and D. So C, C sharp, D, right? D sharp, then E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So if you see, my 12th fret is again B, right? Similarly, third string, open position is G, right? And my second fret was A, right? And therefore, we did not play the first fret because that is G sharp. So G is open, first fret is G sharp, and second fret is A. So continuing with that pattern, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and so on. Okay, right? And similarly, we do the fourth string, fifth string, and sixth string. So sixth string and first string are same because both of them are called E. The open position is E, right? So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and so on. Okay. So understanding this is very important actually. You know, when we learn scales, you should know if you play a fret on the third string, you know, anywhere, you should know which note it is actually. Very important. That's going to actually help you play scales very easily going forward. Okay, it takes a lot of practice. You need to you can't even memorize this actually. It's very difficult to memorize initially, but as and when you continue to play, and I think it's a simple method which I tried initially, and I'm still trying actually. I don't remember every fret to be honest, it still takes time sometimes. I need to go and check again. But the method I used was that on every string I used to practice like E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So I used to just keep practicing for ascending order and descending order. Descending order is difficult, Say if I tell you this is my E position, E, if I go back, D sharp, right? But brain takes time to come out with the name of that particular fret, because ascending is easy, descending is a little bit difficult. But it's important to practice ascending and descending at the same time, so that it gets registered in your mind, and slowly you will understand all these, and it will kind of sink in when you play a particular fret on a guitar. Okay, so do this exercise for first string, second string, right? B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, and so on, and descending order, right? Very important. Once you practice this, it is boring. I completely agree, but it will yield lot of fruits later on if you do it now. It will make your scales, when you play scales, and it will become very easy to play, because you would already know what notes you need to play for a particular scale, and your fingers would automatically land at the right position on the the fretboard. Okay, so having said that, I just want to touch upon one more topic. So I showed you how to tune your guitar, right, using a tuner, right? Or there are some guitars which comes with a tuner fitted like this, electronic tuner, or you could use an app-based tuner, which I showed you earlier. If I have to tell you honestly, when I started learning guitar, there were no tuners actually. Honestly, it was long back. I think in early 90s actually, when I started learning, 91, 92, if I recall. So there were no tuners, or if there was a tuner, I didn't know it. Honestly, I mean, my budget was very low, and yeah, I'll talk about my guitar journey in some other video. But yeah, I just had a guitar and a few plectrums, and I was very happy with that. I had a very small world of guitar with my lessons from my teacher, and I used to just practice, very, very seriously every day, 30 minutes at least, and yeah, do some my own stuff. So how I learned my tuning was a little bit different. Okay, I used to do it manual tuning. So the only thing which I used to tune electronically was the first string. Okay, so I used to use either a keyboard which my brother had, and play the E note on the keyboard and tune it accordingly. So this is my open position is E. So I used to match it with the the E note on the keyboard. Okay, so once I used to do that, and that actually helped my train my ears also musically. I could tune it by listening to a particular note on any instrument rather. So this I used to tune it on E as per the keyboard, and rest of the strings I used to tune it manually by this trick, by this technique. Very easy actually. So if you see, this is my E, right, and this is my B, right? So to tune B, what I can do is, if you see here, this note, my 5th fret on the 2nd string, is also called E, right? So this is B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So if my first string is tuned, I can tune my 2nd string accordingly. So I have to make this E sound as similar as this one. So if I play it together, it's sounding same, right? And this actually helped me tune my ears also musically. So for example, let me detune this guitar, 2nd string. So my 2nd string is out of tune. Okay, it's completely out of sync. Okay, So how do I tune it? So I will now start playing. I will check my, so E, my fifth fret on the second string is not sounding same as my E, right? So let me go to the sixth fret on the second string. Still not same. Little bit same. Okay, now this is a little bit up, right? So I know that so if I have to go above my fifth fret, which is my position to tune my second string based on my first string, and if my second string is sounding in tune above fifth fret. Okay, this is about pretty much how it should, but I'm playing the seventh fret and not the fifth fret. That means my second string is loose. Okay, that is the conclusion. So I have to basically tighten it. So I will tighten it a bit, not too much. Go very slow with the tightening, because say first, second, and third string especially, they tend to break if you twist them or tighten them pretty quickly. You just do it little bit, 1 to 2 degrees at a time, right? Now let's see. So now it is little bit tightened, and now I'm actually on the sixth fret instead of the seventh fret. It's still not correct, but it's very, very close, right? So I will tighten it little bit more. Okay, it's now a little bit higher, okay, which I want. I want to basically, the fifth fret should be in sync with the first string open. So now I'm playing the fifth fret of the second string and the open position on the first string. It's a little bit low, so I'm going to tighten it a little bit more. Little bit more. Yeah. Now it's kind of. Sorry. Yeah. Now it's sounding in tune. Okay, so my second string is now in tune. Okay, similarly I can tune my third string. For third string, if now my second string becomes the reference for the third string, not the first string. So my second string is B, right? Open. So I have to tune my second string, my third string, by pressing the fourth fret. Why fourth fret? Because fourth fret is B, right? So if you remember, G is the open. G sharp, A sharp, B. So fourth fret is B. So B should sound as the second string open. Okay. So with reference to second string, I tune my third string by pressing the fourth fret of the third string and make sure that it sounds same as my second string open. Similarly, my fourth string, right, I can tune it with reference to the third string. Okay, now my third string is G, open. We always tune with the open position. And my fourth string, I have to find out which is my G note, right? So if you remember, my fourth string open is D, then is D sharp, E, F sharp, G. So my fifth fret on the fourth string is G, and that should be same as my third string open. See, this is kind of same. Okay. Similarly, my fifth string, I have to tune it with reference to the fourth string. Okay. So my fourth string open is D. Okay. So I have to find out D on my fifth string. So this is A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So D, which is my fifth fret on the fifth string, I have to make sure it sounds same as fourth string open. Okay. Okay, it's sounding same. Okay. Now talking about the sixth string. Now my sixth string is, I have to tune it with reference to the previous string, which is fifth string. Now my fifth string open is A. Okay, so I have to find A on my sixth string. So this is E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So my fifth fret on the sixth string is A, and I have to make sure that it sounds same as fifth string open. Okay, it's sounding in sync. Okay, that's how you tune your guitar. So first string, you can tune it to a reference point, either using a keyboard, tune it with as E. Okay, and then rest of them you can tune it manually. Okay, so that's how you tune your guitar without using a tuner. But and also I think this exercise also helps in developing your listening skills, or your ears gets tuned musically. This is just the very beginning of training your ears, but more you practice, you will with your closed eye, if somebody plays a particular note, you will be able to recognize what note that was played. So it takes time, but it requires a lot of practice, lot of dedication, and lot of effort. So this is about talking about sharps, flats, and using sharps we have identified all the 12 notes of in music theory, right? So these are the 12 notes. Then we talked about half step and whole step, okay, what that is. And then finally a demo on playing all these notes on all the 6 strings in the ascending order. And so the homework for you guys is to just practice each string, call out the name of the note, right? Like E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and so on, and descending order. Okay, very important, right? For example, E, D sharp, D, C sharp, C, D, A sharp, A, G sharp, G, F sharp, F, E. Okay, so it takes time, but practice this and it's going to help. And then we also discussed on how to tune your guitar without using a tuner, right? And how you can actually use that technique. It's basically based on all the theory we have done. We just make sure that two particular strings are sounding same at a particular frequency, and that's how we tune the guitar. I hope this was useful, and if you have any questions or any doubts, put a comment below, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video with more exciting stuff. So stay tuned, and bye for now.